Hunter Biden's plea deal revised, a dramatic day in court.
A routine courtroom hearing, it seemed, ended with a big plea deal in disarray.
Hunter Biden pleading not guilty after his plea deal was put on hold.
But wow, they acknowledge that Hunter Biden has massive legal troubles that did not go away today. They have been in denial for years about Hunter Biden. And Hunter Biden, wow, this was supposed to go nice and easy, all breezy for Hunter, all arranged by the deep state, by the swamp. It did not turn out that way. He was supposed to plead guilty to 2 minor misdemeanors and walk out of there a free man forever. The judge had some questions. Her name is Mary Ellen Nerica. And look, I'm not a lawyer. I have never actually been tried or anything like that, but I thought she was great today. I have something special. This is the transcript. We just got it from the hearing today. And I think she was asking all the right questions. And you heard the defense and even the prosecution start to be like, let's take a look at it. Oh, by the way, Hunter was in court. He showed up with a multi-vehicle caravan for a guy who's supposed to have no money. He arrived in style. But the judge reported as follows. And you know what's great? The whistleblowers, all those hearings, the House Oversight Committee, a lot of those people were submitting letters, briefs, amicus briefs, I think they're called, to the judge. And it looks like they made a difference. The judge at one point says, I have not been able to review the third-party submissions. I do understand that they request that I reject the plea agreement based on information that the flyers submit cast doubt on the investigation performed or the charges brought or both. This is the judge talking. So let me ask you this. If I were to think that the facts presented in those submissions, or even the facts that have been presented to me in this case and the attached agreements, suggest that the investigation was lacking or that more serious charges should have been brought, is it within my power to ask or direct the United States Attorney or the Attorney General of the United States to redo the investigation or bring different or more serious charges? I think she's actually asking a bit of a rhetorical question, and it's something of a setup in a good way. Mr. Wise, who's the prosecutor, says, I don't believe so, Your Honor. No. Mr. Clark, the defense attorney, says, we agree, Your Honor. It would raise, obviously, massive separation of powers questions if that was to be taken. The judge proceeds, okay, and isn't that decision about what charges to bring for the prosecutor as part of the executive branch? Prosecutor, Mr. Wise, it is, Your Honor. Mr. Clark, defense, we concur, Your Honor. The court, all right. So if there were a failure in the investigation or the charges brought were inappropriate, how would that get addressed in our form of government? Mr. Wise, the prosecutor, through the political process, Your Honor. Mr. Clark, defense. In particular, Your Honor, the executive branch is charged fully with investigating and making prosecutorial discretion decisions. And indeed, that's where the term prosecutorial discretion comes from. It is vested in the executive branch. She's asking key questions here, and she's on to something. Next, she says, okay, let's walk through some of the provisions of the plea memorandum, of the plea agreement. Do you have it in front of you, sir? Yes, he does. It goes on to say, I need some help here, because you all told me that this plea under Rule 11, Section C/W, X-ray Delta, but yet I have this provision that I would think is normally in a plea agreement. So tell me, how do these agreements relate? Are they part of a package deal? Mr. Wise, so, Your Honor, the United States' position is that the agreements stand alone by their own terms, and both agreements include their last paragraph that says that with this one caveat. I know it's getting technical here, but hold on. The court, the judge, that's a big caveat. If you're telling me that rule such and such and such and such an X-ray Delta doesn't give me any authority to look at this, having an agreement not to prosecute, that's why I'm looking at this. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I need to understand this. He would not agree, just so I understand, sir, you would not agree to that plea agreement if you didn't get some immunity from the other charges. Is that right? Speaking for my client, that's correct, sir. She's able to determine that something fishy is going on here. And she busts it wide open. Look, that's my interpretation. They seem taken aback big time We'll see what happens next. He did plead not guilty. He was supposed to plead guilty. That was a prearrangement. This is possibly my favorite part, my second favorite part of today. There was an agreement that basically, all right, we know who you are, Hunter, and we have an agreement. You're going to stay out of trouble, so we'll keep you out of jail. I mean, you know, you could be put in jail right now, even before a trial. So let's go to the agreement. It was signed by Hunter Biden, whose first name is Robert. Did you know that? Okay, there's his signature at the top, Wilmington, Delaware, and the judge's signature next. A couple of things he has to do. Number one, don't do drugs, all right? Good. Number, what else? No drinking, all right? No drinking at all. This could be a problem, especially the drug part. We all saw what was going on at the White House on the 4th of July and the drugs near the Situation Room. No firearms. All right, that makes obvious sense. We've seen his gunplay, and he's in trouble for that. And this, I think, was the ultimate. Get a job. You have to pursue work. He doesn't have a job, and I think that's a problem for him. And the judge called it out, and because his side has had to admit that. You know, the art is a scam, and they basically had to concede that. And they've done it before. He doesn't get a salary. Here's what they hide behind sometimes. It cuts both ways. Hunter, they say, the president's son, Hunter Biden, now has no salary, has had his Porsche repossessed, and was forced to sleep on a cot in his father's room during a recent presidential trip to Dublin. This is back when he was fighting the child support payments for that unacknowledged presidential granddaughter in Arkansas. Remember the art. How much money? At least this much. But I think the judge seems to know it's a scam. It's not a job, all right? It's not a real job. It's part of this whole thing. He may get prosecuted for some of this stuff. $500,000 per painting. And he's flying on private jets. Yeah, his, what do they call him? The sugar lawyer, some guy from California, big time lawyer / likes to smoke pot, hangs around with important people, loaning Hunter a private jet. And he did arrive at court today in a motorcade. For a guy who's supposed to have not much money, this is how he arrived. I know he gets Secret Service. Does he get 50 Secret Service agents? That would seem excessive. And there he is. Part of me thinks that Hunter enjoys the attention. If you look at the laptop, if you look at some of the videos, you kind of pick up on that. Hats off to the whistleblowers. I think they were a game changer last week. And the House Oversight Committee and the rest. A couple of other things might be going on. The U.S. Attorney, David Weiss. I mean, people have been really questioning his integrity. And maybe he said, you know what? Enough with this. We're not gonna go through with this. The judge, what did she see today? I think she saw right through the whole sham. And maybe it was the defense attorney, who has a bit of a motor mouth, and, well, who knows? Did he screw up today?
Do you have any idea if Hunter Biden's laptop had anything to do with this investigation? Was it used?
I don't. No, I don't. I mean,
were you ever asked about it?
I can't recall being asked about it, to be honest with you. But there's nothing about the situation that's been filed that has a thing to do with the laptop.
Why not?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the prosecutors.
Well, today a judge could ask the prosecutors anything she wanted. That guy was right there. He seems like he's holding back, playing a cutesy game of some kind. And maybe the judge sensed that Hunter Biden is not playing it straight. I mean, everybody in America has seen that.
Was that your laptop?
For real, I don't know.
I know, but you
my
know
point
that's
is,
this is
I really don't know.
Okay.
The answer is
you
that's
don't
the
know
truthful
yes
answer.
or no if the laptop
I don't have
was
any
yours.
idea. I have no idea.
So
whether
could have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. There could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence. It could be that it was stolen from me.
And you didn't drop off a laptop to be repaired in Delaware?
Not that I remember at all. At all. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's legit. How about that? Have you ever lost something? Well, I could have lost it. Then again, this whole thing, an illusion from the Russians. One or the other. I know it's one or the other. So, all right, so there's that. And maybe, I'm sorry, if you're the president of the United States and you deny something and everybody in the world knows this is not true, I think the energy of this could find its way into a courtroom and mess up swampy plans.
I did not know he was on the board of that company. I've never discussed my business or their business, my sons or daughters. I did my job. I never discussed a single thing with my son about anything having to do with Ukraine. No one has indicated I have. We've always kept everything separate. I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
You know my favorite clip of that? Remember where he's like, we kept everything separate. We kept everything separate. Like, what was separate? Everything. You mean the whole thing? Like plausible deniability for you, like Tony Bobolinsky told us, huh? We kept everything separate. They were making the money. I was the front man. It was separate. I never talked business on the phone. I just said hello. They took care of the details. Everything was separate. One more from Hunter.
There's no but to this. No, we never did.
Your dad said, I hope you know what you're doing.
I hope you know what you're doing.
I do.
And I said, I do. And that was literally the end of our discussion.
So for the record, they did talk about Hunter's business deals and a lot more. It looks like they shared the profits. Next.
When I met Jill, I knew. My brother said, there's this woman, you'll really like her, Joe. So I gave her a call, and she had a date that night.
You said, do you think you could break your date?
Oh, that's right. And what'd you do?
Well, I called and told the guy that I had a friend in from out of town and went out with Joe.
Isn't that cute? But it's not true. That story is a lie. Next, please.
I wasn't big on the whole date scene thing. But when I met Jill, I fell in love with her when I saw her.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day.
He said, I'd really like to see you again. So he's looking at his calendar and he's, oh, Thursday. No, I'm really busy. No, I'm busy Friday. How about tomorrow? And I thought, buddy, you just blew your cover.
She's owned me since then.
All right. Again, very cute story, but it's not true. Before Joe Biden, Jill was married to a great guy named Bill Stevenson, a very prominent citizen of Delaware, prominent businessman in Delaware. And in the 2020 campaign, as he started to write his book, this was not character assassination. This was, you know what? These are facts, and these deserve to be understood. It wasn't like he was saying, don't vote for Joe or vote for Joe. It's just saying what you just heard is not true. Take a look.
So you were friends with Joe Biden?
Oh, yeah. Right before the election in '72, Jill, Joe, Nelia, and I were in his kitchen. How do you forget that?
Stevenson says his first inkling something was up came when Jill refused to go with him to meet Bruce Springsteen, who was booked to appear at the Stone Balloon.
He said, Joe asked me to keep an eye on the boys. And I just thought to the back of my mind,
That did not make sense to Bill Stevenson, who will be joining us in a moment. One more clip.
One day, he says a man came into his bar and asked him to pay damages for a fender bender that involved Jill.
he looks at me and he says, oh, she wasn't driving. I said, her beloved Corvette, she wasn't driving it? He goes, Senator Biden was driving it. And I went, what?
Wow. Bill Stevenson has very unique insight into Hunter Biden's situation or non-situation in Delaware.